Here's a crankshaft we saw in my last video not so long ago, where it had a total runout of 0.65 of a millimetre across the main shafts, and I've since split the crank, removed the conrod and big end and fitted a new floating bush and a British made aluminium conrod which I've polished up and put it all back together. And I've got the gauges set up here, hopefully we can see them. This is my imperial one, which 0 to 5 is 5/1000ths of an inch, and this is my metric one, where 0 to the 10, if you like, is 0.1 of a millimetre or 4/1000ths of an inch. So from there to there, or there to there, is 4 thou, from there to there is 5 thou. I'm going to give it a spin now and see what we've got. Right, we've got the equivalent of, at a maximum, it's just a little bit over what I'd call 0.4 of a, sorry, 4 thou. It's just showing a little over 0.1 of a millimetre, which is 4 thou. And this one here is showing between 2 and 3 thou. The good news is that both dial gauges, needles, are moving at the same time at the same point of rotation, so we can subtract one from the other, or one cancels the other one out. So even if we say we've got 5 thou on this one and 2.5 on that one, if we average it's sort of showing between 2 and 3. So if we say 5 thou on that one and 2.5 on that one, take one from the other because they're moving together, and that gives us a run out of 2.5/1000ths of an inch, which is just brilliant compared to what we had before on this crank, as it was when it came out the engine. So the main bearings are going to get a much easier life now, and on top of that we've got European main bearings in there now. You can't see the flywheels moving up and down against each other or in and out against each other as they did before. It's running nice and smooth. That bit of a noise is coming from this one here, but it's running true. And if we look at this, we're close up to the where the drive side main bearings live on this one, on this side, where we're getting our 0.1 of a millimetre or 4 thou. And if I move this along closer to the end of the main shaft, and see that we're still getting about the same amount. So in actual fact, a lot of that so-called runout is probably a slight discrepancy at the centre at the end of the main shaft, because the whole thing right along is giving me the same amount of runout. So in real terms, that is actually none. So I'm very pleased with that. And what I'll do next is I've got the crank pin nut done up tight. I'll just put the grub screw in there and tighten it up, and then this crank is ready to go in back into the main bearings and the crankcases, and that bottom end should be much better than it was, well, before or ever. So this should reduce the vibration and the wear and tear on the main bearings and make the bike much smoother and more enjoyable to ride, I would have thought. So next thing to do is get the crank ready to go back into the cases, and it'll be another job done.